Hey, what's up guys? My name is Danny and welcome to the first video of Nerd on a Budget. If you're into nerdy or geeky things like me, then you know that our hobby can get quite expensive. So let's try to save money together. So this video is meant to be a template that you can reference in building your own budget gaming computer. I want to show you that you can get a lot of value for your dollar. You can get a really awesome computer for under $300. That's right, $300, and you'll be able to play Metal Gear Solid 5, The Witcher 3, Fallout 4, all on 1080p with at least medium to high settings. So there's got to be a catch, right? There's no way you can get that much performance and capability for that low of a price unless there's a catch. Well, I don't really consider it a negative catch, but other people may, so I'm going to bring it up now. And most of the parts I'm going to be unboxing are used parts. There's like a negative stigma surrounding used electronics and especially used computer parts. You know, people say,
there's like no more warranty left on it.
Or
how do you even know if it's gonna work?
And to that I say that there are thousands of people trading and buying used parts across various computer forums, and they do it without a problem. I'm one of those people. There's definitely tips and tricks to buying used, whether it be online or Craigslist, but I can talk about that in another video. I just really want to get to the build. So here's all the parts that I gathered over the last 2 weeks of December 2015. Now, none of these were what I'd consider to be amazing deals. They're pretty typical for being used. As I unbox the part, I'll let you know what it is, where I got it, and what the price was with proof of the price. First is the CPU and motherboard, which I got as a combo deal from the hardware swap subreddit. I picked up the AMD FX 6300 paired with an ASRock 970 EX4. I specifically chose the CPU, but for the motherboard I didn't really care what I got. Almost anything would have worked because I'm not planning to overclock or run multiple GPUs. If you've done some research on budget builds, you may be wondering why I didn't go with the Intel G3258. I couldn't find it for cheap enough. I paid $80 for the 6300 and 970 motherboard pair. The G3258 paired with any other motherboard was always slightly more expensive, and I didn't think it was worth paying the extra money. The combo didn't come with the CPU cooler, so I grabbed a pretty cheap one over at Amazon brand new. I chose the Arctic Alpine 64 GT. I just needed the cheapest cooler I could get. This one had good reviews and it fit the bill, so I went with it. At $8.99 after tax and free Prime 2-day shipping, it was a hard price to beat considering I would have used a stock cooler if I had one. Remember, I'm not overclocking, so no need to drop more on something overkill. The graphics card is the one thing that separates a gaming PC from a consumer PC and can oftentimes be the most expensive component. I initially got a used MSI Twin Frozer 7950 from Hardware Swap for $90, but shortly after buying the 7950, I saw someone else post that they were selling an R9 270X and a Corsair T650M power supply for $95. They were selling local, which meant that I could save an additional $15 to $20 because they wouldn't have to ship it. The bundle deal with the power supply breaks down the pricing to about $75 for the graphics card and $20 for the power supply. Up next is the RAM, which I also got from Hardware Swap. I bought 8 gigs of used DDR3 G-Skill Sniper RAM. They're clocked at 1866 MHz, but honestly with RAM you should just focus on the capacity and lowest price. For everyday usage, you're not going to notice a large difference between the different RAM frequencies. I spent $30 on these, which is actually kind of high. If I waited a bit longer, I probably could have found some for $20 to $25. $5 to $10 savings doesn't seem like much, but when the entire build is under $300, it adds up. For the hard drive, you guessed it, Hardware Swap. I picked up a used 750GB 5400 RPM 2.5-inch Hitachi drive. Since it's a 2.5-inch form factor, it's technically considered a laptop drive, but because solid-state drives are so common now, most cases can handle them without the need for additional hardware. Ideally, you'd want at least a 7200 RPM drive because it'll improve with boot up times, loading, and read-write times, but at $15 this drive was hard to beat. I went for capacity and price over speed because games nowadays can be huge, and once it loads up, performance will be the same, so the extra load time wasn't a deal breaker since we're on a budget. Last but not least, the case, which I got from eBay brand new. I got the Rosewheel Redbone mid-size tower through Rosewheel's eBay account. I managed to get it at $29.99, no tax, and free shipping. I chose this case because it had overwhelmingly positive reviews on Newegg and even got a Tom's Hardware mention. With all the parts unboxed, it was time to build. The build process was pretty standard. If it's your first time building a PC, it might help to watch some YouTube tutorials or have an experienced friend give you a hand. The first heatsink from Amazon had faulty wiring and the fan didn't work. It was the only faulty part that I received of all the parts, and it was new, go figure. I was also incorrect in assuming the case would have a 2.5-inch drive bay. So I didn't look into the specs of this case as thoroughly as I should have, It turns out it does not have a 2.5 inch drive bay. This is where a normal desktop drive would go, and this is a laptop drive. Fix the problem with one of these adapters. This has the spacing appropriate for a desktop hard drive. So these run about $5 on Amazon, so I'm gonna have to use that and add it to the total cost. With everything plugged in and a little bit of cable management, the system was ready to go. I'll spread the details of the Windows installation and driver installs. For the performance test, I'll be playing The Witcher 3. Fallout 4 doesn't have as high as requirements, so it should run better than what you're about to see, and Metal Gear Solid 5 should perform about the same. So we'll start with medium graphic settings first. So it's medium, post-processing and graphics, okay. Alright. So, let's see. 30 frames, mid-30s, and now mid-40s, okay. Doing it without recording with fraps, I was getting about 45 frames per second on average on medium settings. And it looks like it's not too bad now. Getting like high 30s to low 40s. So I'm trying to change the scenery up to try to get some more frame drops by going in and out of the water. And I'll go fight some of these water guys over here. Alright, so 35 to, well, I'm dead. So about 35 frames there. Alright, so now I'll try to do it on high settings and see what kind of frames we get. Alright. So instantly it took a noticeable frame drop. So now we're in the 30s. I'm gonna go in and out of the water again. Basically 30 frames per second. Now what you can do is you can tweak it so that you can get somewhere in between medium to high settings. NVIDIA hair works. I don't really care about his hair flowing in the wind. And we'll do number of background characters to medium too. So we still have the land and water and grass and stuff looking nice, and the textures looking nice. So let's see if we can. Alright, so we're at 40 frames here. So you can kind of play with the settings and try to see what works best. But I think 40 frames for the cost of this computer is pretty impressive. Anything above 30 is reasonable. Oh, there you have it. Alright, so to wrap it up, here's a summary of the build. It's able to play the latest and greatest AAA titles with respectable graphic settings, all for the low price of $263.97. If you watch this video and are completely lost with all the different part names and specs, then that's totally okay. The point of the video was to show and prove the benefits of going used if on a budget while still looking for performance. A little bit of research could easily get you up to speed. A $300 build made up of only new parts, even with sales, would skimp on the graphics card and processor, the two main components that affect gaming performance. Alright, there you have it guys. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, that'd be awesome if you could leave it in the comment section below. And if you liked my video, then that'd be awesome if you could either give it a thumbs up or subscribe or do both. I think it'd probably encourage me to make more videos, if anything. But until next time guys, thanks for watching. Bye.